On Saturday, protesters marched through Bob Kroll's street in Hugo, demanding he resign as police union head following the killing of George Floyd.
He is the face of what is wrong with everything within the Minneapolis Police Department.
One of the speakers was a friend of Philando Castile's, John Thompson, who won the DFL primary for a state house seat earlier this month. In a video captured by the media outlet Unicorn Riot, Thompson appears to respond to a neighbor.
Come on over here with your Blue Lives Matter sign. Blue Lives ain't and if people in Hugo don't support black people, Hugo, Minnesota.
Thompson's speech continued for 7 minutes.
This whole state burned down for $20. You think we gonna about burning Hugo down? Now y'all running y'all cowards back in the garage.
Later, video shows Thompson striking an effigy of Kroll and his wife, WCCO anchor Liz Collin. Thompson declined multiple interview requests, but posted to Facebook saying, quote, "My comments on Saturday were not helpful. Inflammatory rhetoric is not how I want to address the important issues we're facing, and I apologize." Kroll says the protesters should not have targeted his neighborhood.
They have no role in this matter. My wife has no role in this matter. The rest of our family, no role. Vulgarity around children, people being forced inside their homes. It was just despicable behavior by those people here.
Rosemary Nevels, a community leader at the protest, says Thompson's comments were a reflection of anger.
It was inappropriate. There's ways of saying things. You know, it's not what you say, it's how you say it.
This incident was reviewed and investigated by the Washington County Sheriff's Office and the county attorney, but they say they did not find any evidence of a felony.
If there are any fears, I think we can quell them.
On Wednesday, County Attorney Pete Orpett went door to door in the neighborhood and explained he didn't file charges because Thompson didn't make a direct threat.
Thing that is an opinion that I think is incredibly inappropriate, but he has his opinion.
Neighbors said those opinions made them less likely to support the protesters' message.
If they had support here, they lost it really fast, just because of the way they handled themselves. It was really disgusting to watch.
The Minnesota Society of Professional Journalists has also condemned the striking of the effigies, calling it a direct threat. Organizers say that wasn't planned.
My perspective, it's disingenuous to focus on paper being smashed when we're talking about real lives being killed.
Danny Spiewak, KARE 11 News.
In response to Thompson, who he has endorsed, Governor Walz says we cannot accept the threatening behavior and rhetoric we've seen recently in our political discourse. But neither the governor nor the DFL have dropped their endorsements ahead of the November election.